The sovereign wealth funds, sovereign wealth funds, I define them simply as government investment vehicles with an interest in maintaining huge reserves, investments outside the country for the purposes of gaining investments. Now, in Kenya's case, we don't even have enough investment to start within the country. So why would we be exporting investment money to other countries to begin with? Not to mention that even most countries tend to fill their sovereign wealth funds with money that comes in from two sources, mostly natural resources, especially it's vast. So we're talking Qatar, we're talking Abu Dhabi, we're talking Qatar, we're talking the United Arab Emirates, we're talking of Venezuela and places like that, Norway and all that. So that's I think the first hoop we definitely don't meet because our reserves are not that much. And secondly, countries that have surplus in foreign exchange. In current account payments, we have a deficit.
If we take into account coal in the Mui Basin, yes, titanium ore down in Kwame, the minuscule oil reserves we have in northern Kenya, would we get to a level of scale necessary for a sovereign wealth fund?
No, let me introduce a third factor, and perhaps it looks unfair, but let me introduce a third factor. One, many of the countries that have very good sovereign wealth funds, and we're talking about Singapore for the purposes that it has good exports and therefore has a surplus in that respect. We're talking about Norway, and we're talking about Qatar and all these, and countries in the Gulf. Many of them are also countries that are already at a middle income level at the least. Now, why? So you're now saving money to actually ensure that the future, you preserve revenues for future investments and all that. Now, Kenya is not even at a middle income level. We are not even at the basic $1,000. So why would we save money for future generations when today's generations are starving? It doesn't make sense. We have a railway that we are borrowing money at atrocious rates to fund. Those are the things we should fund.
A disgruntled Kenyan taxpayer would point out, but Kwame, this is the same government that doesn't know how it spent $3 billion of our money about 2 fiscal years ago. So if we essentially take this cash from oil, titanium, coal, whatever, and give it to the same government and tell them, go and spend this on infrastructure, aren't we essentially just throwing quite a bit of money down the hole?
But what's to give us the confidence that the investment funds would be established, the sovereign wealth fund, which is basically just an investment fund, would actually be less corrupt? It would probably be, its oversight would obviously be by the same instruments that oversee expenditure today and which seem to be failing most of the time. So really, that's a big point, but it's a point that is neutral in the sense that it would affect both the sovereign wealth fund and other public expenditures which happen on a regular basis.